episode starts in the Balearics, where we sail from Ibiza to Mallorca, then Menorca, and on to the beautiful island of Sardinia. We then cross to Sicily, stopping for a few days on the Aeolian Islands before sailing through the Strait of Messina. The whole journey takes just a few weeks. I would love to have stayed much longer.
We begin our journey with the wind behind us, sailing from Ibiza to Mallorca. This ruggedly beautiful coastline has numerous beaches and cales, and we headed for Santa Ponsa, which has a good anchorage and a lovely little beach. We didn't stay long and instead headed east to Arenal, another popular beach, a safe anchorage for Fair Isle and a marina which Steve knows well.
Getting ready to sail into Arenal Marina for fuel and water felt strange. Over the last 35 years I've been here countless times, as my father lived on his boat here until last year. He's now enjoying life on land in Germany. I've watched Arenal grow into a big modern marina. It hosts some charter fleets that really should be out by now. But not this year. The marina was full, but lacking my dad's boat. Seems strange to be here without him.
We are now ready for our trip to Cabrera, which used to be a military zone but was declared a national park about 30 years ago. At first, boats were able to go there and anchor, but now you have to book a buoy and can only stay for a maximum of 2 nights. We were among the first to go this season. It is an imposing sight, a lighthouse with a 360 view and a spacious private mooring field.
So it's early morning in Cabrera. It's very quiet and lovely here. A little bit overcast today as well, but that's okay because we're going to go for a hike. You can do a couple of walks here, and there's some guided walks as well, I hear. We've got a bit of a challenge this morning, haven't we?
Yes, I am getting the grab bag ready just to make sure that everything is very waterproof because we're going across on our lovely paddleboard.
And the reason for that is a fairly bad schoolboy error yesterday. Sailing over, we were expecting 10 to 15 knots of wind, and we got 30 knots of wind, and that's all that's left of our dinghy. The rope that tied it on, it has that as the painter, and then a bridle, and the bridle's obviously come loose, and we didn't notice. So yeah, I mean, as soon as the winds got up, we should have just hove to and pulled it on deck, which is what we would normally do. I don't know why we didn't, but that's what you get when you cut corners. So we've lost our dinghy, so it's sort of backwards and forwards in the in the paddleboard until we can get another one. So luckily it's nice and smooth today, and we can we've got to get over there, so hopefully that'll be okay on the paddleboard. Let's see. You think I should stand up and paddle, do you?
I do. I want to sit like a queen in the front.
No, I think the safest is both sat.
I think it probably is.
Pull me in. That's it. So, we do have some things here. We can just shove it on there. That's it. Don't rock it. Don't get on, but you've got to get on the right way round.
Why?
You can't face opposite directions.
But I can't hold it. I think we probably can the way we feel
this
morning. We're back to back, not speaking to each other.
You
okay. Yeah, I am. I just want to get wet.
Well, I've got my foot hooked around the thing for the ladder now. There we go. Use the dinghy.
Actually, to be honest, I think it's easier if the front person paddles.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, only because I've only got one paddle and.
Because it's a long way to go and you can't be bothered. Ow.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I think this might take some time.
It will.
Oh, look, there's someone over there on a paddleboard as well.
Yeah, they're actually doing it properly though, just paddleboarding, not carrying their worldly possessions and their shoes around their neck.
Oh, Steve, can you hear that?
Hear what?
Exactly. Nothing. You get up in the morning and you just hear the water lapping against the sides.
Yeah, it's amazing. No jet skis.
My concern is not for us, but for the cameras. The water is quite warm but rather deep, and I have no intention of testing the dry bag.
So I made it without getting too wet, and it's lovely. It's proper paths here, aren't there? And I think there's a tourist boat coming in, what they say, 15 minutes.
Yes.
So you get
up.
get there before the crowds arrive. I very much doubt it's not going to be exactly a cruise liner, I don't think.
There's more boats here than I thought there'd be.
35 I counted. I think it can take 50.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's the first day it's supposed to be open. So, yeah. So people are coming in their little dinghies for coffee, and the little cafe, which is just in there.
I wish we bought some money.
Yes, coffee would be nice.
There are 2 tourist boats a day from Mallorca, but they are very small. For the most part, we had the place to ourselves. Except for these black lizards and Lilford's wall lizards. There are thousands of them, which is great to see because they're unique to this area. I don't know if you can hear that noise as I come down here. It's the cicadas. And that is really all you can hear. It's amazing. If I turn the camera around, you've got that fantastic view. And Steve walking up the hill. Oh yeah. And the spider. I don't know if you can see that. It's possible to stay on the island in basic but comfortable accommodation, though be warned, this compound once had another purpose. Well, it's a lovely place to stay now, but it used to be a prison for French soldiers captured in the Peninsular Wars. Sadly, most of them died. All this history is explained in the museum here, which is currently closed, but a good place to visit. Maybe next season. For now, this is a beautiful place. Quiet, relaxing, and it still feels quite remote.
So we're just leaving Cabrera, sailing out of the main harbour. Well, I say sailing, we're doing 1.7 knots, so yeah, that's sailing, the classes are sailing just about. It's very hot today, do with a bit more breeze just to keep us cool actually. But it's very nice here. You can see over there, you might even be able to hear there's some people in there shouting, the Blue Cave. We can't actually get there because we haven't got the dinghy, and we couldn't do anyway really because there's no buoys off it, and you're not allowed to anchor here anymore. Since 2010 they stopped you anchoring around the island. It's just the buoys in the centre now that you can get to. And Judy's making most of the sunshine just on the deck.
I am. This is going to be where the new dinghy's going to be when we get one.
Yeah, well, because it'd be bigger. So
yeah,
we had it sort of sideways across before when we put it on deck, didn't we? So now it's going to have to be long ways. We looked at the ones that we could get, and they're all longer, but I think we want to squeeze in here. So yeah, hopefully that's our next mission. We're going to go up and through the islands here, up the east coast, and find somewhere to put the boat and look for a dinghy.
In the meantime, we sailed as far, or not so far, as we could go in very light winds, and stumbled across one of the most beautiful places we visited so far, Cala Mondrago. I still haven't quite got used to paddleboard excursions, but they're growing on me. And on this occasion, tying up was easy.
Our own little garage. What an amazing boathouse. Cool. And something to lock the paddleboard to. I won't put it in the garage just in case someone is using it. Like they are. Beautiful boathouse. and two amazing beaches. One over here and there's another over there, and our boat is just around the corner. A lovely little colour. This is great, isn't it?
Well, there's not only this beach here, but there's another one round there as well.
Yeah.
You probably can't see it through there. But no, it's beautiful. Really lovely.
Made me able to get a coffee.
Yeah.
Lovely pine forest right up to the edge of the cliff. And then you turn around and that's your view. Not a bad anchor spot at all.
In fact, the whole area is another nature reserve, and it's very well preserved as a place of beauty and tranquility and history.
Well, apparently this is built on the side of watchtowers from the 16th and 17th centuries to watch for pirates coming in, but this bit was built in the Second World War as a little gun emplacement. And what exactly it was protecting, just tiny little coves around here. Yeah, get a good view out across all the little coves. So many different ways to view the boat.
I just wanna call my friends and see what they're doing tonight. It doesn't have to be so special. I try to be myself. You do the same and we'll be alright.
Our original plan had been to continue up the east coast of Mallorca, where there are some fantastic callers to visit. But instead we decided to turn back to Palma, where we hoped to find a second-hand dinghy. For those who don't know, Palma is the capital of Mallorca and worth a visit anyway. So, well, plans change when you're sailing. And we did have some wind this time.
It keeps coming from all directions.
Yeah, take the bimini down, don't we?
Yeah.
It doesn't last in this wind.
At least with a motorboat you can go in the right direction.
Once we were out at sea, the wind settled on one direction and we tacked down the coast, slightly envious of those who don't have to worry about the wind. Palma Harbour is a vision, the bustling modern beachfront overshadowed by the incredible Gothic Roman cathedral, La Seu.
That's the cathedral. It's beautiful. There's quite a lot of greenery around as well.
All I can see is rock.
No, there's plenty of trees. That one over there is fantastic. Looks very sheltered.
I know you get to it.
Well, there must be some kind of road. I'm sure there is.
Helicopter.
No, there's a road. You just can't see it from here.
We anchored in Palma Nova round the corner from Palma town, where the first person we met was the seagrass inspector. We've met many of these inspectors and they are very amiable and thorough. It's illegal to anchor in the seagrass or even have your anchor touching it. If you do, you'll be asked to move.
So this is Steve paddling us ashore. It is very windy, so it's a bit of a battle.
So we are going ashore with Ibiza here to buy a kayak. Not a dinghy, because we've been researching the best place to get a dinghy and the best dinghy to have, and we found it, we think, but it's in New Zealand. So it'll take a couple of weeks to get shipped to us. We're having it shipped to Menorca, so we'll go there. Meanwhile, we need something to, a bit more than a paddleboard really, something to get groceries. And that's why we're going to buy a kayak. Fingers crossed we can find one.
Yeah, it's not ideal doing it like this because it is just around a handle, which obviously can be cut. It's not like the dinghy where you've got the metal bits to do it, but it should stop kids taking it anyway. So we've got about a 2-mile walk. This is Portofino. It's completely empty. This would be packed with tourists normally at this time of year.
I would have thought so. The
But
beach
yeah.
too, all the deck chairs are laid out. There's just no one on them.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got the place to ourselves, so just hope the shop's open when we get there. I think it is. It's as I say, about 2 miles inland. It's on an industrial estate, so it's a different sort of thing. And we should have brought our bikes. This is what you call a bike track, isn't it? Take note, people in England. We have roads smaller than this. This is absolutely brilliant. Taking your bike down.
And look, do you want some exercise on the way?
Oh,
More
yeah.
exercise?
Well, we got off to a good start, but it's not so good now. No cycle track and no path whatsoever. So it's just along the road. And we've got to walk. But the industrial estate is over there. That's where we're heading. It's a tropical monster. Where's that? Well, that didn't quite work out as planned. No one has kayaks, it seems. There's been a run on kayaks. I think everyone, all the Spanish in lockdown here, have decided they go kayaking. And Decathlon don't have them, which is the big superstore here, and a couple of other shops. We are now in Palma, so that's the main, very posh marina in Palma. We're at the bus stop. Trying to go back now to the road.
We are.
Go to plan B or plan C or D, I think it is.
I've lost track of plans. I think we're back on the paddleboard plan.
Yeah, okay.
The west coast of Mallorca is simply gorgeous. We're heading to Port de Sola, a good place to see the sun go down. It's a safe anchorage with an active cafe lifestyle, and this year, not too busy. In the morning, we went off for a hike.
Quite a spectacular view, isn't it? It's the mountains in the background, isn't it? Tramontana Mountains, named after the wind comes out from the Pyrenees. So I think that's why people don't stay here in the winter, because it's quite cold, and it's a cold wind, the Tramontana, quite severe.
But it is the only place, isn't it, of refuge on the west coast?
It is, yeah,
they
yeah,
say.
for the passage up here, so it's quite
Yeah.
important if you're coming up here in the winter. It's a bolt hole. I very much doubt if anyone anchors in there during that. They'll probably all end up in the marina. You don't get any tourist boats here in the winter.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. There's no falls up there.
Yeah,
Don't know if you can see it.
falls everywhere.
There are. And we're going to a lighthouse. You might be allowed in it. It is a thing to see. As it turns out, the lighthouse was closed, so instead we opted for the path through the forest. Be warned, this track takes at least 3 hours, so start early.
Very different in the summer.
It's getting hot. However early you start, or you think you start, it's hot.
Yeah, we didn't start early enough. You've got to get up at dawn really to
Yeah, definitely.
finish your walk before it's too hot.
Still climbing.
This is a bit better. A little bit of shade from these lovely pine trees. Pine forests all over this island, aren't there? It's really good.
Oh, that's helpful.
Oh no, that's fine. We're going that way.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't go there.
Don't go that way.
Good thing, because I'd have gone down there.
Yeah. And there's, what is this?
The remains of a lookout post now taken over by the beautiful forest. Isn't it amazing? It's just stunning.
Incredible.
There are some fantastic views and thankfully plenty of signposts.
Okay, what this says. Oh, there you go. Porto Sola and Dea. So it's Porto Sola and Sola, so it does go via Porto Sola.
By this time, 45 minutes more was enough.
Through the olive groves. A few little olives on there.
Back on the water, we have some errands to run, which would be a lot easier if we still had a dinghy. Hey ho. Okay, we are really pushing our luck now. One of the things we found in Porto Sola is a laundrette. And we love laundrettes because we don't have a washing machine on board. But we still do only have a paddleboard, so all our laundry is coming with us. And I hope we make it. My biggest concern, I'll be honest, is even if we get there, when we come back, it's going to be wet and heavier. And we're already sort of sinking. So let's see.
It's fine, you can do anything with a paddleboard.
You can't do anything with a paddleboard. We will find the limits of a paddleboard. We made it, and I think we're going to get some groceries as well on our way through. Yeah, as much as we can.
How much do you want to carry on the way back?
Okay, maybe not get some groceries. I never thought this would be so exciting.
High tech.
But it is.
These are big machines.
I think we've got enough for one load, haven't we, Steve?
One of these big ones? Yeah, definitely. I'll let you do that because you always have a go at me putting the wrong things in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And they've even got it in English.
I can't believe we're showing you washing machines. Sorry, it all worked well. Now back to the video. Much more interesting, the very pretty tram which runs from Porto Sola to the town of Sola. It runs every hour and the ride takes about 20 minutes. A slow trip through the orange and lemon groves. You can even jump on the Victorian train from here and get to Palma. We didn't. Instead, we had a quick tour of the town, which is getting a little busier. Before heading out to the surrounding countryside. Our route is taking us from the west coast of Mallorca up to the north, where we intend to stay until the weather is right to cross to Menorca. Then we're heading to Mahon, where we hope to meet our new dinghy, which is flying in from New Zealand. I'm very much looking forward to that. The west coast is a magnificent sight. Giant rock face full of crevices and caves. Ancient and mysterious.
We've even got some wind.
I don't know if it's real.
It's just dropping off this.
The water is so deep you can get incredibly close, almost close enough to reach out and touch the rock. I was trying to avoid getting too close when this happened.
So it's just the halyards brake.
What?
The halyards brake, that's all. Halyard and mantle.
Oh my god! I mean, that's all.
Right, just take it out slowly.
Jesus! It sounded like the whole boat was broken. Apologies for the language, it was scary.
So now doing 7 knots, from no wind to all this wind. That's Ned for you, isn't it?
That was a bit of a shock. I thought I'd hit something underneath. I mean, I was looking to see.
Did you when the bang happened?
I was looking to see don't come too close to the rock, and I thought I must have just. There must have been something sticking up that wasn't on the chart.
When I heard the bang, I knew exactly what it was because the sound just came down. And yeah, I had looked at that halyard actually just as I put it up and thought there's got a bit more wear on it than I had before. But I thought, well, that'd be good till the end of the season.
End of the season? The end of the hour.
I mentally thought, yeah, next season I'll be putting a new eye on that.
Not long later, the wind dropped along with the sun. Maybe it was all just a dream. The next day we wake up to rain, and lots of it. We seem to be getting some strange local weather. We're anchored on the northwest of Mallorca and decide it's time to move.
It's not what you want to see really in an anchorage in the morning. Breaking waves just behind you there. Quite a swell, wasn't predicted. Supposed to be a bit of an offshore breeze, and we've got 30 knots onshore, well 20 at the moment, but we've had some big gusts. So although the anchor's holding nicely, the snubber's doing its job, best to get out of here, find a better anchorage. Up on the way out, get a refreshing shower as well.
Made it. Finally, peace and tranquility. And a strange-looking building.
So we've made it to Palempza. It's very nice here. It's the only really all-weather anchorage in the whole of Mallorca. It was nice to get in here yesterday with that swell, wasn't it?
That's why we came here, yep.
It's all calmed down now. You can see, and it's quite a big spot through the pine trees there. It's a lovely walk this, isn't it?
It's called the Pine Walk, actually, and you can see there's pine trees everywhere. I don't know if you can see them up there. But the smell is something that you can't always get across on video, but it's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, it's really nice. So we're going to go into town after this, which is right around the other side of the bay over there, and see if there's a festival that's supposed to happen today. It's a festival of the sea, but who knows? Yeah. COVID has stopped most things, isn't it? Which is a shame for the Spanish. They love their festivals, and you know, it would have been nice if that goes. But we'll go and see what's happening.
We love their festivals as well.
We do.
Not allowed to go through there, but there's obviously a guard, or has been a guard, in there. Don't think they're there now. Needs a bit of a brush, but it's quite modern. So I don't know.
Is that modern? I'm not sure that's modern.
No. It turns out this is a military base, which is probably why we are the only ones here.
Well, they weren't kidding when they said military zone. You come ashore here, and actually all you've got is this massive road. So it looks like, to get to town, we're going to actually have to go on the paddleboard right across the bay. So I think you're going to get a very wet bum by the time we actually get there.
I know. It's very wet already. The other side of the bay is a lot more inviting and very pretty.
So this is where we should have come in the first place. Our paddleboard is on the dinghy dock there, and the boat is way over there in the distance. But I think this is probably what they call the pine walk then.
I think it is.
Lots of pine.
Still smells beautiful. And there are plenty of people out there on paddleboards as well.
Yeah, there are actually people here and they weren't in the last place. That should have been the sign to us that we were in the middle of a military zone.
But you never know. A good place for lunch and a swim before heading back to the boat for some repairs.
As you can see, I've got the Yankee down because there's a little rip in it which quite quickly got big, so we rolled it up. And that's what it's looking like now. I haven't got a patch big enough to do it, but I have got some sail tape, so I'm going to stick some of that on and hope.
Our sails are nearly 20 years old, so it's not surprising they're showing a little wear and tear. Hopefully we can get a proper patch when we arrive in Mahon.
Well, that's stuck both sides, so hopefully that'll hold it for a bit. While I've got the sail down though, I'm actually going to tighten up the forestay a little bit. It's been I've been going to windward as well as we normally do, not quite making the angle we would normally get. And if you watch the winter jobs video, you know I took the forestay off to do a repair job on the roller reefing, and yeah, I think although I put it back on the marks, it's just not as tight as it was. And obviously that's to do with tension on forestay and backstay. I slackened both. You want to try and keep everything right. You've got to keep the mast in column and make sure that the rake is about right. And I've got a mark actually here, if you look down here on the boom, just there. And that's something that you do basically on a very good still morning. I hang one of the mountain lines that we have off the halyard and put a spanner off the end of it to see exactly where that line comes down to. So that's the line. So I know the rake is about where it should be. It's back where it was before, but there's not enough tension. So I want to put a bit of tension on both ends, same amount, and see if we can get to windward a bit better. Now I know this isn't particularly scientific, but someone who's a very good rigger that I trust told me that with forestays and backstays, well actually shrouds as well, with a spanner about that long, it's a 10-inch one, you're never going to do it up too tight. Basically do it as tight as you can without giving yourself a hernia, and it's not going to be too tight. As I say, not particularly scientific, I haven't got a gauge, so it's the best I can do. And it is, it's not as tight as I thought. I don't know where this slack has come from, but I thought it was tighter than this, so I can definitely get it tighter.
Repairs complete and we're ready to sail to Mallorca. It's not perfect conditions, but you can wait forever for perfect.
We're not quite making our intended course, but the wind's supposed to back a little bit, and actually we're coming around a headland here, so the wind should shift a little bit in our favour there as well. So hopefully this will be a nice sail. All the sails up, which is very good news. We should we're quite close to the wind, but I think we should be able to get there completely on one tack if we're lucky, and if this wind holds up. We haven't got much at all, but we seem to be going along pretty well. What are we doing in there, Jude?
4 knots.
Say 4 knots.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
that's not bad, not 9 knots apparent wind, so it's pretty much on the nose. So it's probably only about 4.5 knots of wind, and we're doing 4 knots. So yeah, not bad at all for a 26-ton boat.
The wind did pick up, well predicted, Steve, and it was in the right direction.
Well, we are charging along now. Got a good bit of breeze, and we should be able to get to Menorca by tea time at this rate, which will be lovely. We've got a lot of stores on board because of our challenge of going in and getting supplies. It's really quite pretty out here. Judy's braving the deck, sunbathing.
It's getting a bit wet.
I can see, yeah, it's got a bit more lively, isn't it?
has,
It's actually running down the decks here, further down, so you're lucky on the top deck. This is lovely, we're just charging along, aren't we?
Yeah, they're my key lines. A wonderful end to a 6-hour sail, almost perfect timing. Making the anchorage before dark is pretty important in the Med, and tonight it proved very important. We thought we had the anchor set, but when Steve checked, the anchor was upside down. We We managed to relay it, and it's just as well we did. An unexpected thunderstorm kept most of us awake. Our anchor appeared to be holding, but a couple of the other boats dragged, which must have been quite alarming for them. With very little moonlight, you couldn't see much without a torch. In the morning, thankfully, the weather has settled. This is our first full day in Menorca, and the anchorage is packed. We were not expecting this, I have to say. I thought there'd be fewer people here than in Mallorca, but wow, it's amazing. Everyone's out enjoying themselves. Don't know if you can see that. A few people sailing by there. After a quick look round, we get a call to say our dinghy has arrived in Mahon, so, well, we go and pick it up. The entrance to Mahon is now busy. Even the car ferry is back up and running. We make our way to the nearest anchorage, and once Fair Isle is settled, we head for this building, Princess Menorca, a broker for the famous Princess powerboats, where Natalie has taken delivery of the dinghy. Thank you for storing our boats. You're welcome.
Yes, it's brilliant. We can't shake hands and do those sorts of things, but we can do that. So yes, brilliant. It's a great job. You've saved our lives, so now actually we can get in and out of town.
It's no problem.
And this is James, who offered to give us a lift back to Fair Isle. We are very grateful to both of them. Once on board, we unpack, and this is the best bit. A few minutes later, and we have our car back. We weren't sure how light the dinghy would be, but we can easily get it on board, where it will stay for all our voyages from now on. It fits perfectly. We'll put out a separate video to show you more in a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, James, as it turns out, sails an Amel Super Maramoo 2000. So, never one's to turn down the chance to see around other people's boats, we go on board for a sail and a chat.
You've gone from a Tayanya to, which is a really good blue water boat, to another really good blue water boat, but it's a very different animal, this one.
Absolutely, Steve. Yeah, the Amel is peculiar in so many ways, but a lot of these features about the Amel are really sort of there to help you and assist you and keep it safe. And everything is operated from here centrally, and it's just a great design for safety in mind.
Yeah, everyone knows about Amel and the different things they have, like having the solid guardrails all the way around. There's some great sort of features like that, but there's some really quirky features here as well, isn't there? That you've got. I mean, looking at when we filled up with water, you've got dipsticks.
The dipstick,
floating in.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just simple, and it's never going to go wrong. It's just a stick that bounces.
Yeah.
Comes out of the floor and tells you the level. Very, very handy, and I've had gauges in the past, and they're just almost useless. They're overreading, and you can't rely on them.
Well, it's very difficult in a boat, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
To get
and the
that
fuel
sort of
gauge, you've seen that. It's just a stick as well.
Engine room. How's that?
Actually, engine room, Steve, is just here, and right below the cockpit sole. There's a little handle here you grab. It's on gas struts, so it lifts up fairly effortlessly.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And
so you can step down into the engine room.
Yeah, it's way down there, but you can just step in, and then you've got room around, haven't you?
And then you have the generator, the water maker, all the water pumps, toilet pumps, etc. Air conditioning.
One of the quirky things that they all have, I've noticed, is this ladder. It's a passerelle as well, is it?
Yeah, passerelle, swim ladder. So you can take it off, put it on the holes on the transom.
Yeah.
And it's got a wooden board that basically covers the steps. And
Good idea.
It's the flat part.
And
obviously
away.
The swim ladder part is just super easy. Take it out, put the handle down, just throw it in the water, and that's it. So if you have somebody overboard, it's very simple.
Yeah. So obviously one of the other big changes from the Tayanya, those are wood. This, I mean, they all come with this fake teak.
Maintenance-free teak. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't so popular in the beginning. A lot of Mel copped a lot of flack for it, but it's no maintenance. It's
Well, it's
very
20 years
effective.
old and it's still looking...
Non-skid, maintains its non-skid.
Yeah. And obviously they're all catches.
Yeah, exactly.
And roller reefing, which, I mean, I've got good and bad feelings about them. What was your thoughts?
No, I was quite worried about the in-mast furling. You hear the horror stories of them getting stuck and trying to get the sail back in. But I've never had a problem with it. And if there was a problem to occur with the furling motor, you simply undo these 4 bolts.
Yeah.
The motor drops down, so these bolts, and then you can put a winch handle in here and furl the sail up.
Yeah. And your pole system, I know on MLs that's different. Take me through, because it's in two sections.
Exactly. So the jockey pole fits in the mast in this attachment.
Yeah.
It goes outward through this gap, and then it's got a cup that sits out there, which you attach the pole onto.
So it's just a way of getting it much further out.
Much further
so,
out. Yeah. So potentially the whole foot of the sail could be outboard.
Our journey begins in Mahon, the beautiful capital of Menorca, and it's buzzing.
I'm ready to lay it on the line, yeah.
The closest anchorage is a good 2 miles out from the town, behind the Royal Navy Hospital. It fits about 30 boats, and you're only allowed in the main harbour in stormy conditions, so it's a good thing we had the dinghy. Mahon Harbour itself is one of the longest in the world. It has 3 marinas and several floating pontoons, but at this time of year they are all very expensive. The octagonal saffron island, dominant in the middle, was built by the British to dock up to 8 Navy ships at once. The Spanish, who now control the port of Mahon, have renamed the island Isla Pinto. We are keen to explore the beautiful coastline north of Menorca. It looks fantastic on the map, and even better in real life. Small towns and villages where everyone, it seems, has a boat. And in the summer, evenings are spent on the beach. We spend a couple of days going in and out of various anchorages, some of them more difficult to negotiate than others.
It's a bit of a zigzag, and in places not very deep.
The channel is well marked in the summer, not always in the winter, I'm told. And, oh yes, you'll be pleased to see our dinghy is safely on deck.
Lots of little marinas outside your home. Perfect.
The coastline is beautifully rugged with plenty to explore. There are also a couple of inland streams best visited by canoe, or in our case, a paddleboard.
The beach looks lovely where we're going, and also there's a river just behind the beach which we're going to try and row up. Oh, there's a party boat even. Woo!
Only depth for one on the paddleboard over the sill.
Well, there are times when the SUP is definitely the best way to travel. It's about a mile apparently that you can go up here, it says in the pilot book. It's beautiful, it's green, the water's a bit murky, but there is a possibility, they say, of seeing turtles, so we're keeping an eye out. I think it's probably just a fish. The only other thing you can hear apart from the cicadas is the sound of munching from fishes. There's one just here, but you can't quite sneak up on them.
The real beauty is in the stillness of the water, and everything is so lush, like being in the jungle. Eventually we get to the end and have to turn around, and unfortunately on this occasion, no turtles.
And I think that's probably as far through as we're going to go without a machete. There's everything to turn around.
The must-see place in Menorca is Fornells, another natural harbour well protected with an impressive small town. A good place to anchor, we think, for our last couple of days in Spain before heading out to Sardinia.
So we've got the good old-fashioned pilotage method coming down the channel, just line the two towers up. And we come into Fornells, which is just there.
Fornells is a busy playground harbour, just a small place allocated for anchoring. We're sailing through the mooring field at the moment because we've had to anchor way over there. We were told we couldn't go anywhere else. There's just one little area left for people who want to anchor.
Yeah, it's sort of becoming like that a bit, the Med, putting more moorings in all over the world, I think, really. But you can still anchor here for free. You just have to be beyond the island. There's Posidonia grass to deal with as well, which you get in the Balearics a lot, so you can't anchor on those. The part of it was out of date. It said you could anchor over there, now you can't. But it's okay, we've got the spot and we can get into the marina here and hopefully get some provisions for our crossing.
Exactly, it's the first time you've been able to get provision since we've got this dinghy actually, or do more than just the odd bag.
Yeah, it's a bit far in Mahon to get to the shops and back. We've got a 4 mile round trip. That's the only anchorage there, it was way outside. So yeah, we're better off here. We'll have a little look. Oh, there's a fuel dock as well.
Yeah, I don't think we need fuel this time.
No, maybe water.
We'll see. Good plan. The town really is pretty, and for the first time this summer, I feel Spain is properly back on holiday. The shops are open, restaurants are full, and there's a sense of optimism.
So we've just about managed to get our provisions and things done for the trip, haven't we?
We have. We are ready to go. Sorry to leave Spain.
Yeah, sorry to leave this place. It is beautiful.
Yeah,
We've had a wander around. We would like to have seen more of it.
But we are now going to Italy, which is going to be a whole new adventure. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, so am I. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, that is the beauty of Europe. You know, you go from country to country, different cultures, different food. So yeah, it's going to be lovely.
Our last night in Spain this season.
Getting ready to leave, and there's actually a bit of breeze, so that's very good news. The weather forecast isn't brilliant and we're a bit behind with our clearing up. If you can see, one of the reasons is this. I tried to put a new eye in that halyard yesterday. That's what happened to it, the one that came down in the last episode just underneath the cliff, and I found this was the halyard that was on the boat when we bought it, and it's this odd twin core stuff, but the actual Dyneema core is not woven. It's like that. So I mean, normally you'd strip the inner core out, this bit, and then when you splice it, weave that back through, but I've got no idea how to splice this stuff. So if anyone does and knows a link on YouTube, please let me know and I can do that. At the moment I've just got it tied up with a halyard hitch up there as it's just our spare now, but yeah, we need to have it. The other thing that went wrong yesterday was the inverter died. The inverter is what gives us the mains power for the whole of the boat. It's a big unit in the engine room, and yeah, there's nothing I can do. It is completely dead, but it's not the end of the world because actually we do pretty much everything off of 12 volt, even chargers for laptops and things like that. We have ones with cigarette lighters here, and I have got a little spare unit here. Little inverter that'll get us out of trouble. Julie's just making the last of the internet, are you?
I am sending the last emails before we go out of range, telling people we won't be back in range over the weekend, just in case they care. We should be there. I'm saying Tuesday. I know you think Monday, let's see.
Yeah, Julie's been a bit pessimistic. We're not going to get much wind at all on Sunday, we know that, but we will get there sometime on Monday. It takes about 48 hours to get across normally, and normally you leave about lunchtime to make sure you get there in daylight, but we'll leave earlier just to make the most of this little bit of breeze now, and get there probably Monday afternoon, Monday night.
We started out with enough wind to sail, But by sundown, as predicted, the wind dropped. But what was not predicted was the swell. I have no idea where that came from. That sometimes happens in the Med.
It's been a pretty quiet night. Still rolling around a little bit. The swell has persisted. The wind has long since gone. So we've got no sails up. We are just motoring along, which is a bit of a pain. But it's lovely just lying back here in the cockpit and looking at the stars. I wish this camera could show you the view that you get from here. I do probably just about pick this up. This is Venus, the point of light here. Actually, as that came up above the horizon, I thought it was a ship on the horizon. It looked like a mast light. Didn't come up on AAS. In fact, there's only been 2 or 3 ships come up on AAS, and they've been 35 miles away, so I haven't actually seen them in real life. But it's a little bit of light on the horizon now. Dawn probably about an hour away. Going to just listen to a bit of music and watch the sun come up.
Just before sunrise, the wind came up and so did the sails. And for the next 24 hours, we had perfect conditions. It looks like we'll be able to go through the night, which would be lovely. We're heading in the right direction as well for once. We had to go quite a lot south during the course of the day. The swells dropped, thank goodness. I'll show you a bit more of the sea. That's the sea we like, as opposed to the horrendous swell we had yesterday. That does make all the difference, really, if you're sailing slowly, which we certainly are. We arrive in Sardinia at dawn, take down the sails, and the first thing that hits us is the smell of pine. Then came the incredibly clear water.
It's not often that you can see your own shadow on the seabed.
First a snorkel and my first attempt at diving. Something to work on. Also, this is the perfect place to test our new anchor. Yes, we can reveal that we have a new ultra anchor, and with a rock-hard seabed, this is a great place to put it through its paces. And to film it, of course. And here's how we spend the day. At first, Steve tries to hammer the GoPro into the ground on a stake, but the bottom is so hard, it just kept falling over. Then we decide to weigh the stake down with a chain in a bucket, but the camera floated away and we lost it. Looking for a camera in the ocean.
Nothing?
I think we may be going slightly mad. But several hours later, Steve found it and we try again. This time the camera is tied on tight and we just have to make sure it's pointed in the right direction. Then line us up and drop the anchor. Easy. and then turn to reset. We're planning a video about anchors later in the season. What I can say is we're pretty pleased with the Ultra. Then it was time for dinner and an explore. So we're coming down the channel here, past all the blue and white boats. It seems to be a thing here, painting your boat blue and white.
Yeah, they're lovely old wooden fishing boats. It's really nice to see. There's loads of them.
I think there's quite an active fishing industry here, judging by the boats that are around. We saw a couple out, didn't we, when we were coming in?
Yeah, like normal, they tend to go out at dawn. So we were coming in at dawn, so there was a little bit of an exodus from here. But yeah, it's surprising, there's so many of them just tucked away around this corner. You don't see them from the bay. It's a beautiful little place, and even in here, absolutely stunningly clear water. You see everything.
And the smell of pine.
Yes.
Really strong.
Yeah, we could smell the pine like about 4 or 5 miles offshore as we came in at dawn. You could just have this smell of pine. It's absolutely lovely. I think this is the restaurant we're going to, is in here with something on no foreign land. So we'll see if we can fit the dinghy in somewhere. I think there's a gap up there. Yep, the Blue Marling Taverna.
Cool. We're told this is a fantastic fish restaurant. And I expect it is.
Italian food is brilliant, always, even if it's not pasta. It is absolutely scorching hot. It's going to be 40 degrees today, so good day to be offshore. Before we go though, we can take the advantage of this lovely water and go for a swim.
It's always difficult leaving a lovely place, but we plan to come back to Sardinia and see more of the island in a couple of years.
Well, there's enough breeze for the flag to fly now. We didn't have any as we came out, but we've got the main up just with the preventer. No point in putting the Yankee out and just sit there and flap. But we're getting a little bit of breeze through now. Yeah, I can see actually we're doing over 2 knots. We've been doing 1 knot for a while. Got yeah, 11 knots of breeze there, so that's good. Short plotter sang. It'll take us 3 days, so yeah, hopefully we get some wind. It should only take us
Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I feel it in the air. Can you feel me?
Sailing slowly isn't for everyone, but for us there's nothing more satisfying than catching the wind and making the most of it. Opening the hatches lets the breeze come through, but it still is incredibly hot. I'm pleased to see the new patch is holding. Now the dinghy has pride of place on deck, I have to find new places to sit. This one's a little precarious.
Something in the air, always something in the air.
By mid-afternoon we pick up speed, and as the sun goes down we're faring a very respectable 7 knots. By some miracle, this lasts throughout the night. In the morning, we see land.
This is the first island we come to when we sail into Sicily.
yeah.
It's a rare thing for us to be able to sail in a straight line, and with the following wind, we bypass the islands to head to Palermo. We anchor just north of the city in quite an industrial area, about an hour's walk from the centre. Palermo is a real mix of old and modern. Fifth Avenue names next to historic, classic and religious buildings. In the centre of the tourist district there is real art, and lots of it. The Pretoria fountain arrived in Palermo from Florence in 1574, and it became known as the Square of Shame. Now it's considered a circle of beauty.
One of the nice things about this fountain is that when you walk through it, you get a nice spray, which in this heat you really need.
At night, the anchorage looks beautiful too. The next day we are sailing again, and Steve does some boat jobs, including fixing a bridle to the dinghy, just in case we ever feel the need to tow it. The northern coast of Sicily is quite captivating, and in the evening we anchor in Cefalù. The place is packed for the festival of Santissimo Salvatore. It's the first time we've seen so many people in one place since the pandemic, and it feels rather strange. Even the side streets were busy. Next is a trip to the islands, and in particular the island of Volcano. It's a day's sail in good wind, and by the time we arrive in the evening, the anchorage is packed. It's busy with an active ferry port.
We had a bit of a rolly night here in Volcano. The bay is quite sheltered. It's good. It goes all the way around. It's very deep. You can't anchor in the middle here. You have to be sort of near the edge. But there are loads and loads of ferries, aren't there? Yeah.
Last night they were still going at about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm talking one every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Where are they going?
No, it's a tiny little island, but yeah, there's just these fast ferries that just whiz in and out from everywhere. So it really does shake it up a bit in here. But we're looking forward to getting and exploring.
First stop, the mud baths.
I don't know if it's because of COVID or because they're doing construction work around here, but it is well and truly closed.
We have more luck finding the track a few hundred metres outside the town, which leads to the volcano. Dormant volcano, I should say, but you never know with these things. Maybe it's not such a great idea to climb in the middle of the day.
When we get to the top, I'm expecting a red hot volcano. Nothing less will do.
When we get to the bottom, I'm expecting a big beer.
Okay, I'm thinking you might be more successful than me.
The path is full of dark sandy gravel. As you go further up, bizarrely there's a sign at the top here. Not sure what the options are. Maybe it's just to convince you are still going in the right direction.
It is a bit hot for this sort of walking. I think by the time we're finished, we're going to spontaneously combust and look exactly like those bushes.
Yes.
So before we get too out of breath, I'll tell you what I know about this island, obviously called Volcano, and it is the origin of the name volcano. It's named after the Roman god of fire, apparently. And the last time this particular volcano erupted was 1888, and that marked the end of the stewardship or ownership of a Scotsman called Stevenson, who came here early in the 1800s and set up a bit of a business here, mining business, and being a Scotsman, obviously he was into his drink as well, and didn't do a distillery as you would expect from a Scotsman. He made some wine, some deep red wine, so we're going to have to try that at some point.
What's it called?
Can't remember.
Okay, we'll find it.
We will. So that's the view of the anchorage from halfway up. You can see Fair Isle, or you might not be able to, but it's tiny right at the end there. We're a long way out, because actually this whole place was full when we came in late last night. You can only really anchor right along the edge there because the middle is really deep, about 80 metres deep in the middle, so you're just anchoring along the ledge. So I'm glad Steve was still there, because we've got the anchor just in a bit of stony ground at the edge. I dived on it, but barely in there really. It's you can't get a good hold in here. Glad we've got the Ultra.
Remember the film Lord of the Rings? That's how I feel. Just like Frodo or Sam on a quest to get to the top. And this is the top. Eye-watering sulphur steam coming from the rock. And it's hot. You can actually feel the steam coming through the rock. Wow. Volcano!
One of the strange things about the anchorage here in Volcano is you get this stuff floating past, and it's actually stone.
It's pumice. So I'm going to put this in the shower and we can use it. Why not?
With it.
No, really, it is proper pumice.
It's weird, isn't it? It's a lump of stone. We thought, what is that floating past? And thought it was just some rubbish. And when you actually touch it and it's hard and it's a stone, you think, what on earth is it doing floating?
That's true.
It doesn't feel like it's going to float, does it?
No, it feels like pumice. So yeah, it's hard. One of the other things you notice about the anchorages around here is the large number of motorboats. Even the paddleboards get a motor. Now these guys are pretty skilled. We stay on the islands for a couple of days while we wait for the wind to be right to continue our journey to Italy. It's a chance to explore the anchorages and go ashore to be tourists. This feels like tourist season with outdoor cafes, pretty streets and plenty of people. It is August after all. And then it's time to leave.
It's Tuesday morning and we are trying to get through the Messina Straits. Still not much wind, but we're going to have a go. Hopefully it'll come up later. So croissants for breakfast. They're not homemade, they're just ones out the freezer, but they still taste good. Here you go.
Thank you.
So how are we doing?
We're not even doing a knot at the moment.
0.9 almost.
But it's going down. The
Yeah.
wind speed is going down, not up.
Well, we're due to get, I think, 10 knots of wind later, which will get us going. We have got to sort of try and time it to get to the Straits at the right time. This is where we are at the moment, and we want to time it really to go through the Straits There are certain places, and this is one of them, where it does make a difference of a sort. You get a current through the Messina Straits, and they do publish the tide charts here. Don't worry about the size of these arrows. It's not a massive current. It's not like what you might get in somewhere like the Channel Islands, where you can get horrendous currents running. Here it's a couple of knots, and actually if you happen to get there at the wrong time, which we might do, we're going so slowly, I'd arranged to try and get there at about 2 o'clock so the current will be with us. If we don't manage to do that and it's against us, you can, they say, get a counter current that goes the other way. They call it the bastard. It's the big eddy that comes around and close to the shore goes the other way to the main current. So there's chances of getting out of it, but we will see.
Meanwhile, we start to see strange things in the sea, miles out from the shore. And some of the rocks are rather large.
Julie's fishing for pumice.
I know. We're no good at that either, Steve. We can see them floating by, but...
Yeah, it seems to, I think we've gone through the big bits.
Yeah. There's some tiny bits. There might be some more if I just wait here for a bit.
No, look, there's some more little ones coming.
Yeah. No, but there are some enormous bits. But as always, I'm a bit late.
It's going to need to be fairly big with the holes in that net.
Yes, I know, but there were some about the size of our table. What?
They're chunks of our gel coat.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, they're stone. I mean, they're not soft. They aren't hard. They're not light. They float. But
they float.
sharp.
Yeah. No, I think I've missed my chance.
Get this bit. Get it. No, you missed it.
Oh, that's so annoying. There's a big bit there and I would have got it.
Yay!
Hey! Oh!
First catch. Oh, you let them go.
Yeah.
They escaped.
Yes! Yes! Got it!
Don't let it escape.
I won't. Look, there's a proper bit.
Oh, big catch.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, let's have that for dinner.
What?
Lovely.
Not quite dinner. Oh, I'm getting into this now. He's already dead, this one.
Just remind me again, why do we want pumice?
Well, it's good for cleansing your skin.
Is it?
Yeah. Gets rid of all the dead skin off your feet and stuff. Oh, this is not one.
Oh, look at that. It's a rock. Get it. Well, sorry, I don't want to hit these things.
You're right, actually. This is quite heavy.
That'll take the bloody gel coat off and no problem at all. Let's get it. Jesus.
That is a rock.
That's a rock. I think we throw that one back.
No!
Julie's still collecting. She does get a bit obsessed. We're going to have a pile. Yes, we already have. Look.
Another one?
Enough.
Really? You can sell this, you know.
I really don't think you can here.
When we get to Venice.
After dodging the floating stones, this is our 8-hour journey from Vulcano to the Strait of Messina. It's a narrow gap of 1.9 miles, and as we won't get far in daylight, we are aiming for this anchorage. It's quite a busy approach, and as the wind dies, we decide to motor to give us a little more control. We pass through the pylons on the Sicilian and Italian sides and stick to our side of the traffic separation zone. And then we spot them. These are passerelles, boats designed for one purpose only: catching swordfish. The fish can swim at 100 kilometers an hour, but for some reason they rest in the strait. The guys at the top are spotters and they steer the boat. The swordfish tend to travel in pairs, male and female, with the female being slightly bigger. When the spotters locate a pair, the harpoonist on the end of the bow, which puts our bowsprit to shame, shoots the female first. The male stays around to see what's going on, and so he's caught too. If the male is harpooned first, the female swims away. It's a tradition that's been part of life here for thousands of years. The next morning the boats are out again at dawn, and we continue our journey.
Messina BTS, this is Ferrar. We are proceeding south on the Sicilian side of the straits. We wish to cross. Should we do that at the roundabout or beyond the BTS? Over.
BTS were happy for us to cross anywhere at 90 degrees. We decide to slip in behind a ferry.
So this is like an imaginary roundabout.
It's an imaginary roundabout, yes. But you have to go around the wrong way. It's very good. One way for us.
The pink parts of this map denote the no man's land in the middle of the strait. The yellow line is the route we took to cross. And now we're in the waters of mainland Italy, ready to travel round the south and up the Adriatic.